Alright, hello, and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and things are getting crazy, and I think there's going to be blackouts, and I'm pretty sure those blackouts are going to lead to us waking up or coming out of this blackout with an entirely new financial system. I've done a lot of work to get to this point, so make sure you stick around. The first clip I'm going to show you was aired on Channel 4, and I'm just going to start by showing you the clip.
Good evening. I'm speaking to you from GCHQ, the government's communications headquarters. This is because what I have to tell you is of extreme importance. Our nation is under threat of imminent cyber attack. We have reason to believe this attack by an as yet unidentified foreign power will be far more damaging and wide-ranging than anything we have seen before. We must all immediately prepare ourselves for the impact of this invisible strike. I'll hand over now to Daniel Patrick from the Cyber Defense Team here at GCHQ.
Thank you, Prime Minister. In a cyber attack, everything connected to the internet can be turned against us. So whilst this attack will not immediately harm us physically, it could dismantle our very way of life. Our critical infrastructure is vulnerable. Basic energy supplies, water reserves, transport systems, and in particular our communications, the internet, mobile phone networks, and TV broadcasts may be targeted. Our defenses are strong, but we must expect a significant impact on how we live, imminently.
Your safety is this government's absolute priority. Our cyber task force is on standby and ready to counter this attack, but there is no doubt that the hours, days, and weeks ahead will be challenging. Please do not panic buy food. Rations will be allocated if necessary. Above all, remain calm.
So as you can see at the end, they just sort of go, just kidding, this is just an advert for this. And so they've come under scrutiny, Channel 4 under fire, for emergency news stunt to promote a cyber attack drama. I couldn't help but notice this logo here, it just reminds me of the United Nations logo, so maybe I'm clutching at straws here. But stick around because we're going to go deep down this rabbit hole. So the Colonial Pipeline hack, do you remember this? This was in May, I think. Yeah, in May of last year, and there was a ransomware attack that brought down a major gas pipeline. So there's this theme, isn't there? This theme of a cyber attack building. We've seen cyber attacks in recent times gone by. Storms have been taking out power. Now, admittedly, at this point, you go, well, yeah, storms do take out power from time to time. That is what it is. People have been left without power because storms take down, power supplies and things like that. I understand that. How we'll safeguard the Earth from a solar storm catastrophe? And this was all the way back in 2017. Okay, then here it is again. Same sort of thing. Is this really an issue? Could the power really be wiped out by a solar flare? And this is in 2020. And then here it is again, just recently in March of this year. Could a large solar storm really knock out the power grid and the internet? Okay, so the case I'm trying to make at the moment is they do seem to be trying to prep the public for some level of cyber attack or blackout. Okay, let's keep going. Because recently, very recently, Australia's power market has been halted in a dramatic move to try to avoid blackouts. Okay, Australia's suspended electricity market to stave off blackouts. This is very, very recent. You've probably seen this. At the same time, in Pakistan, blackouts choke economy as China power plants go unpaid. And then just one day before that, on the 14th of June, they're blaming this blackout on a shift in Europe. So how can it be Europe and China? Okay, I don't know. Keep in mind we're having this prep for a cyber attack, a whole bunch of things telling us that maybe we should be open to the idea of blackouts. At the same time as this unelected official, Uncle Klaus, is saying things like this.
But still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
So there you have it. Okay, so we know that these unelected officials, like Uncle Klaus, are prepping us for a cyber attack. At the same time as the UK mainstream media are apparently operating on this narrative as well. At the same time as we got these solar flares that could maybe knock our internet out, and bad weather that could maybe knock the internet out, and a bunch of other things, right? And so let me tie all of this together. Okay, this guy here, Jim Rickards, has many years ago he's told the world that he's identified a group of elite individuals that are working towards this big blackout in which they freeze the financial system. So what I said right at the start of this video, where I believe there's going to be an enormous global blackout and we're all going to wake up to a brand new monetary system, Jim Rickards has been talking about this for years. And I really and truly believe in my heart that we are approaching the end stages of this. I think we need a big blow off top coming. I think we need a Fed pivot, a big blow off top. That hyperinflates most of the debt away, and then I think we go into this big blackout and we're all going to come out of it and wake up into some new one world currency system. Okay, so let me play you a couple of clips.
As I began connecting the dots, a pattern emerged. It revealed a network of more than 189 individuals positioned inside the world's major financial institutions. Some of them hold senior positions inside the IMF, World Bank, and every central bank in the G20, including our own Federal Reserve. These elites share one vision, and they're about to make it a reality. That vision is one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. They've worked for years behind the scenes preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. That will give them time to reset the world economy according to their vision.
Ultimate goal might be.
Like I said, John, more than 189 elite agents have slowly wormed their way into leadership positions across the board. They now sit at or near the head of the IMF, the World Bank, and even our own Federal Reserve. They also control much of what happens at the central banks of China, Russia, India, Brazil, Canada, and Europe. As you know, these institutions form a kind of global superstructure. It forms a kind of snare net encircling all nations. Their leaders aren't democratically elected. They're not accountable to you and me. They're beyond the reach of government and citizens, and yet they hold the fate of the global financial system in their hands. To get a sense of how they operate, imagine an array of floating spheres. One sphere is labeled IMF, one is labeled Fed, one is labeled Bilderberg, one is labeled Wall Street, one is labeled central banks, one is labeled intelligence agencies, one is labeled media, and so on. The elites inhabit all of these spheres, and together the network forms a kind of 3D Venn diagram. As I see it, regardless of what sphere they inhabit, the elites all share the same vision: one world order, one world taxation, and one world money.
What did these elites want from your contact at BlackRock?
Basically, they want to classify BlackRock as too big to fail. The technical term is Systemically Important Financial Institution, or SIFI. That designation normally applies to banks, such as Bank of America. If your bank gets the SIFI label, it means the government will bail you out first in a crisis. But it also means you must turn over control of your bank until the crisis subsides. In this case, they're trying to reclassify BlackRock, an asset manager, as too big to fail. If they succeed, they'll be able to freeze BlackRock when the crisis hits. BlackRock clients won't be able to sell. They won't be able to buy either. Their accounts will go dark indefinitely, and the elite operatives will take control of BlackRock's assets remotely via the internet. But our research shows that their ICE 9 plan goes much deeper than that.
And lastly, who are these elites then? That's the question. These unelected officials, such as Uncle Klaus.
Are you able to share the identities of these elites with our viewers?
We've identified more than 189 individuals who are in many cases hiding in plain sight. Regardless, they all share the same vision: one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. A short list would include Christine Lagarde, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF; Mark Carney, Governor of the Bank of England; Raghuram G. Rajan, Vice Chairman of the Bank for International Settlements; Haruhiko Kuroda, Governor of the Bank of Japan; William C. Dudley, President of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York; Agustin Carstens, Governor of the Bank of Mexico; Janet Yellen, Chairman of the Board of the Federal Reserve System; Mario Draghi, President of the European Central Bank; Zhu Min, former Deputy Managing Director of the IMF; Zhou Zhiuquan, Governor of the People's Bank of China; Robert E. Rubin, Chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. This A-list of central bankers and other elites is just the tip of the iceberg. Of course, not one of these elites will tell you outright what's going on, but I've seen and heard enough to connect the dots for myself.
So there you have it. If you're interested in watching the full interview, 51 minutes long, just type in this here: The Coming Big Freeze, Jim Rickards, The Daily Reckoning, Road to Ruin. And it all comes from Jim's book, Road to Ruin, as well. Okay? But to sum up here, there are a bunch of unelected officials that have taken control of the financial system. Many of you will be aware of this already. Okay? When the signal sounds, he's predicted that the network will pull the plug on the global financial system. They will cause every bank, brokerage, and business to go dark in a massive coordinated attack. Okay? Coordinated attack, just like we're being told we should probably prepare for. Okay? Just like we're being primed to prepare for and accept. Just like no matter where you go in the news, all you can do is find examples of blackouts and should we be worried about something taking out the power grids? Should we be worried about something taking out the internet? So you've heard the clips. If you want to go, I would highly recommend, if you're not familiar with this concept of ICE 9, which is the freezing of the financial system in this coming crisis, I would highly recommend you go and check that out. And lastly, I'll leave you with this. When this crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. Okay, so they're not going to tell you that they've frozen it. What they're going to do is blame it on some sort of comprehensive cyber attack. But know and understand this. When it happens, you're going to want to be prepared. So whilst I'm always telling you to have money outside the system, physical gold and silver, Bitcoin on cold storage, of course, Bitcoin can operate because it has nodes in space. And if it's on a cold storage wallet, it's not going to disappear, right? When the system boots back up, you'll still have money. Unlike that money kept in a bank, which you probably won't have, or ETFs, or stocks, or shares, so on and so forth. So make sure you have money outside the system. Make sure you have food, water, medicines if you require them. Make sure your family are taken care of. Make sure you can get through. Make sure you have your own energy source wherever possible. Okay, build community because we're really going to need each other when this happens. So I hope you can get ready. I hope you're prepared. I hope you found value here today. I hope you're doing well in life. If you did find value here today, I'd appreciate if you could share this around. Information is power, and we need power more than ever before. So please do share this around. If you've got any questions, throw them down in the comments. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe. I'm your boy Camel. Take care. All the best. Bye.